congrats
Thank you.
on Chosen Family.
Thank you so much.
This movie was wonderful.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, your performance as Steve was great, and yeah, I think it's going to strike a nerve with a lot of viewers in a good way. Seeing the dynamics in the movie.
I
It's a
think
lot of
there's
fun.
something that everybody can relate to.
Yeah,
It's like one of those weird things where it's like sometimes life always isn't a happy ending. And it's not that it's not a happy ending, it's that it's just got a dose of reality, and sometimes that's okay. And
yeah,
like sometimes life isn't perfect. Even if people are perfect and the love feels perfect, like the timing isn't always perfect. And I kind of enjoyed that aspect. I do a lot of movies that always get tied up into a beautiful bow, which is a lot of fun, especially for audiences. But it was fun to do a movie where it was a little messy. It was a little clunky. It was a little, your heart had to, ache just a little bit. But also you could relate to it and you're like, dang, yeah, he is going through that struggle.
exactly. Yeah, no, I was going to ask, Steve, he's in a tough spot a lot of the time, with his daughter and poor Heather, he's trying to make it work, with Anne. And I was
Yes.
curious for you, playing that role, were those scenes with your daughter and Anne, were those fun for you to do? Were they the more challenging? Were you looking forward to, those dinner table scenes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
First of
curious.
all, I love all that. I mean,
Yeah,
I love that awkward tension. That if you can feel a scene as an actor, if that makes sense,
yeah,
that's what you want. Some scenes are hard to feel. It's like you're just kind of pushing exposition, and it's like, okay, we got through that scene. It was great. But if you're in the middle of a scene and you really are like feeling things, that is the joy of being an actor.
yeah,
And so being caught in those moments, because for me, it was very relatable. I've been with my wife for 20 years. I have two daughters. So there was this, my approach was like, holy cow, what if my life were flipped on its head right now? And I was forced to be in this situation. Like, of course, my daughters would be priority number one, regardless of what a pain in the ass, little Ella Grace, brilliant actress. She's a pain in the ass in the movie. That's her job. And on purpose, but at the end of the day, Steve has to choose her first. Otherwise, you wouldn't even like Steve. But if, that doesn't mean he didn't fall madly in love with Anne. Like, of course he did, but that's the reality of life. Like, the timing wasn't right. It was like a summer love that you don't get to go back to. It was like, it feels perfect, but it's just not reality, you know? It's almost like, of course, The Bachelor and Bachelorette never work out on TV because the helicopters and the perfect dates go away. It's like sometimes life isn't perfect and it's messy. And that's what really attracted to me about this story. It was a lot of fun to play.
of course. Yeah. And, Heather Graham, I'm such a fan. I spoke to
Yeah.
her earlier this year for a different movie. And, you're co-starring with her. She's writer director of this movie, clearly a passion project for her. So I was curious
Yes.
what it was like working with her, on the script and, on set, having her just,
I mean, listen,
wearing all these hats.
I'm not gonna, there's no bones about it. It was a dream come true.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, this is Heather Graham. Okay. uh, like it was everything that, yeah, the, boy in me was like, holy cow, I'm about to go shoot a movie with Heather Graham. It was a total pinch me moment, period. Like, you get a few of those in your career where you're like, I can't believe I'm about to go, do X, Y, and Z. This was one of those moments. The cool thing was how, at what ease she put me in the second I met her. I realized she's such a pure soul. She's such a giving human. She's really just wants to make everyone around her happy. Like, just that's truly her motivation in every day. I've said this before. She's that person that anytime she introduces two people, she's like their PR agent. The name is always attached to like some highlights. It's like, hey, meet John. He's good at X, Y, and Z. And it's like she wants everyone around her to be happy. Genuinely, that is her goal. And throughout the entire process, I mean, the stakes were high. There were long hours, all of the things. She had a lot of hats to wear. Not one time did I see her crack. Not even a crack. Not even a raise my voice. I'm having a bad day. If anything, she might have said, I'm having a bad day. And that would have been about the extent of her diva moment. Other than that, it was like, amazing. She's just a sweetheart, and she just wants everyone to be comfortable, which made me, it freed me as an actor around her. I felt so comfortable as an actor around her that, you know, I was proud of it. I was proud, you know, it was a great acting experience for me.
That's great. Yeah, that's nice to hear. It doesn't surprise me. I've spoken to a couple other of your co-stars in this movie. They've said similar things. So yeah, that's wonderful to hear. So yeah, you're wonderful in this movie, and you had a great run. I wanted to ask about Fuller House. You know, I grew up
Yes,
with the original show. I watched it,
of course.
each week as a kid, and I was curious if you still stay in touch with any of your co-stars. And
We really do. Talk about a chosen family. That was a show that was I mean, the
yeah,
whole reason that show came back the second time was because they were a family,
right.
truly. And frankly, it's a testament to Bob. Love
Yeah,
you, Bob.
yeah.
Truly a patriarch, truly a man that showed what love was really all about. I mean, there wasn't a table read that we did that he didn't stand up and give some speech about how lucky we all are. There wasn't a Friday night as that the curtain was coming down or going up that he wouldn't turn and be like, "Can you believe this, John? Like lightning in a bottle. How lucky are we?" Every single time. So being a part of that show was, I mean, first of all, sitcoms just fun to do because you got a live audience. We were on stage 24 at Warner Brothers. That's where the Friends stage was. It was the original Full House stage. It was just history. You know, my kids were in elementary school running around that set. I'm going, they don't even know it now. They don't even realize like that this, how cool this is. I got to put them in one of the episodes, which was cool. I
Oh,
mean,
nice.
show was the epitome of a chosen family. And I love them all to this day. And it's an eclectic group. You got people from, you know, all sides of the aisle, all walks of life, and that they all come together and truly love each other. It was just so cool to be a part of. I feel very lucky, very, very lucky.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm so glad it came back for the reboot, and yeah, it was such a great
We hope
run.
to do it again. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
we
yeah. I'm
all,
sure you would welcome the opportunity. I'm sure
yeah,
to.
the joke of fullest house is certainly spinning out there in the metaverse. So one day, fullest house for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not surprised. That's already already wheels are spinning. I'm sure, but that's
Yeah,
great. I hope it happens. And in
me
the
too.
meantime, yeah, you've kept busy with all these projects. And I see, you've also, I was looking at all these TV shows you've been in. You've had these like fun guest roles on all these wonderful shows. I was curious if there's one, I mean, sure, it's a tough question. If there was like
Dexter.
one role or like episode you did that has really
Dexter.
stood out to you, like, oh, that episode of Modern Family or something like that, that has
No,
always
for
stood
sure.
out.
Listen, they're all really fun. Guest stars are really fun because often they're actually the meatiest role in the episode. You know,
Right.
sometimes the cops are just interviewing the guy that's actually like crazy, and I like being the crazy. That's
Yeah.
fun, you know. And I've gotten to, like, you know, CSI worked with Ted Danson. I've got to work with some amazing people as being a guest star, but hands down, the one that sticks out to me is Dexter.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was the first time that I was like a diehard fan of a show that I ended up being on. In fact, I had written down on a bucket list, I wanted to be killed by Dexter. I wanted to be on the kill table. It was like one of those weird things. I was like, well, how cool would that be to be like one of the, you know, at the time he was such a huge part of pop culture. That
Oh,
show
yeah.
was so popular. And so when I got that call, and the part I loved, it was a former high school football player, was like, it just fit me. Um, and so being on that kill table and getting to work with, you know, Michael C. Hall and going through the process of what it was really like. I was saran wrapped to that table for 5 hours. That
Jeez.
was a real thing. And it was it was just it was just a cool experience, really cool experience. Cause again, I was such a fan of the show.
Oh, yeah. As am I, and so many other people. So yeah, that's
Cool.
great. Yeah, good answer. Well, that's great. Well, thank you, John. That's all the time I have, but congratulations again on Chosen Family, and hope we can do this again soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.